Hey guys, PetZergling here with another TvZ FPVOD. This is actually one that I just found right when I was about to upload the other one, the SK Terran one, and I think this one was a good game. You know, and I just kind of want to throw videos up there. I know people like to watch FPVODs, and I think that I'm a pretty bad player, but I mean, at the D plus levels, I think people can learn a lot. And I think like one thing that I do, like even though like I'm a C player and I'm probably like peaked at C for now, I can't see myself breaking into B any soon. Like most of my ICO time is just spent like fucking around and beating D and D plus players. So like people that are at D plus level and looking to improve and get better, like I guess that's one specialty that I have. It's crushing D players. So um, this is another game I played. Um, this is me at a point where I'm practicing a little bit with my marine control. I mean, basically, I got pretty strong at TvZ. I think I got to C or C minus with a 17-1 TvZ record, but my TvZ, I kind of played like a foreigner cheap style, almost like that one. I think it was Fanatic Never, who, I mean, his TvZ is good, but he plays really tank heavy, and tanks don't really require a lot of micro, and it seems like you can beat players that are better than you if you just go kind of easier builds. Like, I almost felt like I was being like Protoss, so my marine control is kind of slacking. Like, that's one thing. I was watching some replays with Tester and a few other people, and that's one thing that they commented on, that my marine control could be a little bit better. So I've been playing with a lot of games of pure SK Terran, or like SK Terran with vultures and shit like that. And yeah, so I guess that's enough of the intro. That's what my build order is. And once again, you always scout on 11, and what you do is you want to scout one of the bases, and you want to see if their hatchery is there, because if hatchery is there, you can go with the 16 command center. And I see the overlord, and yeah, so there's his hatchery. So, and he's actually blocking with his drone. I'm not too sure what he's doing, but I'm just microing against this. I want to get as many hits as he can. I mean, I guess one thing that this does is it puts some damage on my SCV, so it makes it easier to kill. But like, yeah, he pulls another drone, so I think he's gonna do something stupid. Like, he's probably gonna be a huge fucking nerd and just go for some sort of like 2 hatch build, but he didn't manage to stop my SCV. And now you see, like, look at how early my command center is, and even now I can start my supply depot before I even get a marine out. And you always marine on 16, and you have to cut SCVs and marines a little bit half-assed here, but your command center comes so fucking early that it's worth it. Like, it's seriously really, really good build. And I see him gas, and I don't see a third hatchery. The gas seemed kind of late, and for some reason my marine isn't down there, but it's good to protect the SCV building. And I build a bunker there, and I actually didn't have time to send an SCV down all the way to build my supply depot and my natural, but normally I like to do that. But hopefully the bunker should keep me safe at least. And this guy's been a huge nerd up into this point with my scout, and so I'm just gonna try and keep my scout alive. And okay, so my scout died, so that isn't very good. But I'm gonna just bunker up my marines, and I'm gonna send an SCV right back to his base. And I put down my second barracks. I mean, that's pretty reminiscent of me. I constantly always go 2 barracks before gas, and I transfer SCVs. You want about 7. You see there I transferred 6 plus the 1 that's already on my command center. Now I just snuck by his 6 Zerglings, and he's pulling back, and this is kind of good for me because I don't need to worry about what like my marines are doing. And now you see this build. This is a build that I use that TOT Rhett does in his TvZ, and he puts down 3 barracks before gas, and he gets a ton of marines out and for some early marine pressure. And this is something I'm just kind of experimenting with, but I kind of like to do it. Like, I like to do it on destination. It's a very strong build for destination, but I'm basically just practicing the build order. Like, destination isn't map of the week, so people don't always play it. And now you see, like, I'm just pumping marines, SCVs. Like, I have to build a lot more supply depots, and that's one problem with this build, is you have to invest so much in supply depots. And like, even if you're good, like, if you don't practice this build a lot, you supply block yourself like way too much, and it's really annoying. And I think I actually do okay this game. And when your refinery finishes, like right as you're transferring SCVs there, you want to start an academy, and I do that right there. And I actually build an SCV on accident from hotkey. And now you see, like, look at, I'm going to be pumping out just like a shit ton of units. Like, normally if you go for the Korean build, you only have 1 barracks and you get your gas. Like, I already have 3 barracks, 2 command centers. Like, I'm just pumping units like fuck right now. And I'm sure I'm going to supply block myself here one of these times, just because, like, it's just like so unit intensive. Like, see, my supply depot just finished, and I'm already at 42 out of 44. And now, I mean, I know he's no. Here's one thing I forgot to I was just playing it normal, trying to learn the build order, and I forgot that he had gone for a 2-hatch build order. So I didn't really compensate for a 2-hatch Mulus, and my scanners are gonna come out in time to scan normal 3-hatch Mulus, and I'm not sure when I realize it. Like, I know I realize it at some point, and I don't even bother with scanners, but like, if he would have gone 2-hatch lurker at this point, I would have had some problems, and I think now I realize it, because like, no, actually I still don't. Like, I would have started building turrets at this point. And see, once again, I go 4 barracks. I almost always go 4 barracks before factory, just because I like to get a bunch of medic marines out. And I get weapons, and I think right when I get weapons I realize it. But here's the benefits of having 3 barracks at this point in the game, is I can get 2 medics out with this army, and this is a huge army. I mean, this army is different from the original one, because this army can beat 6 Zerglings and 2 sunken colonies. So I scan it, and I realize that he's had a Spire, and I pretty much just go into nub panic mode, and I start building turrets. And you always shift-click the SCBs back on the minerals so that you don't have to freak out, especially if his mutas are coming right now. That would fuck me up pretty bad. So, I mean, the fact, like, normally you move out with this control group of units, just to force him to build sunken colonies to hurt his economy a little bit, but because he did a 2-hatch build, and now he did like kind of a weird build, he built his 3rd hatch in his main, and I think this is a mistake. Like, from a Terran perspective at least, I know it's a little bit easier and it helps your larva, but if you just wait a little bit, you can build it in a 3rd base, and that's what hurts you. If the Zerg does a lot of damage to a Terran, and then takes their 3rd base, and I'm not able to kill it. And I use my scan in the bottom right just because I assume he has some sort of containment up, and I saw the Mutilus with my fire bat that was wandering around the map, so I'm kind of wondering where they are now. And once again, you see how I have a marine only control group, and then my 2nd control group is marines and medics, just because the 1 stims, and then I want to make sure that the medics always follow. Like, all you need is 1 stimming and target firing, and that's really enough to deal with Mutilus. And I scan, and he built 3 sunkens, which is kind of a mistake, I think. Like, he went for a really, really safe 2-hatchery build. And I think, you know, I'm almost starting to think that he didn't even go for a 2-hatchery build, that he went for a 3-hatch, but I just didn't see the 3rd hatch, or whatever. And now he's coming in, and this is really sloppy. Like, my marines kind of got stuck up there. That supply depot and engineering bay kind of fucked me up. And you want to spread your marines. Like, see how I have a line now? And that line is way better. Now I'm targeting Mutilus, and now I'm losing a few marines because of that early mess up there, but now I'm getting a better line. And I'm, you know, hitting all of his Mutilus at once. And this is the tough part, because I have to macro a lot right here while I'm controlling all my marines. And you see, but here's the benefits of having those 4 barracks. Like, look right there, I just filled up my 2 control groups instantly. And now what this build allows me to do is, when you'd normally think that I'm going for just a standard like science vessel tech, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna be able to move out of my base, even though he still has Mutilus alive. He's kind of looking for holes here, but he realized that I have quite a few medic marines, and I think I go SK turn with this too. Yeah, just because I have the extra gas, I put down double starport, and he's doing a really good job of picking off my marines. Like, this is a good counter to the build order that I'm doing, because I rely on a real heavy medic marine count early on. Let's see, like, I'm moving out now, and this is one thing that Zergs aren't ready for. A Zerg is gonna, they spend their money right now on taking a 3rd base instead of getting lurker tech. But what makes this game interesting is this Zerg didn't get a 3rd base, and he just didn't, right away he went straight to lurker tech. And now here's my 5 barracks now in action, because I can move out with 2 control groups, and I already have another control group of medic marines in my base, and that's good enough to hold off units right now. And my science, or my starport still isn't finished, and I'm moving up, and I see that he's got lurkers out, and it's like, he shouldn't have lurkers out at this point of the game, just because normally Zergs try and take their 3rd base while doing this, and so I'm a little bit puzzled, but I want to move up. I want to get a containment up on his lurkers and stop him from getting a 3rd base. And you see how I have all those medic marines in my base, but they're dying, and that's pretty bad. But I mean, I have 5 barracks pumping right now, and this is kind of where I get sloppy in macro, basically because I'm a very mechanical player, and I'm a very, you know, like, normal player, but when people do things that are kind of strange and out of the ordinary, like any low-level player, I kind of have to start thinking, and I play less in mechanical mode and more in strategy mode, and so my my normal hand speed tends to slow down, but when a player goes for, in there, he kind of comes out with lurkers, and it's kind of annoying. But I mean, this build, even though